Hey guys, welcome back to the What's Next podcast. Today I'm excited to have Miss Christine Sams in today, Realtor broker. She's been doing this for a long time. She's got a lot of knowledge to share with us. Let's dive right in. How you doing, Miss Christine?
I'm doing great.
I know your husband, you both come in. You've been coming in, I don't know, 5 years, probably more.
Thank goodness our backs are feeling good.
Doing okay?
Yep.
Right on. You just got back in town.
We did, yes.
So where you been?
Well, we've kind of been all over. We went up to Canada for a little bit.
Did you?
And went to Spain for a little while.
Right.
And back to Washington. Bought a new house out there in Semiahmoo, right on the border of Canada.
Oh, beautiful.
And yeah, it's gorgeous. And now we're here. We came back for Rensport.
What's that?
Rensport's a Porsche event up in...
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Didn't know.
up in Laguna Seca the last 4 days. The Porsche event's been up there.
Perfect.
Yeah, so
I know Chuck had a little health scares. Feeling okay now? Is
Yeah.
it okay to go to the shows?
he doesn't have very much energy.
Right.
I guess he's recovering a little bit every day.
Sure.
A little bit.
It kicked his butt.
It did, yeah. And but he's doing better, and he's exercising. We're going to the gym, and we played golf.
Good.
Just 4 holes, but
Yeah.
but we rode for 18 holes. So.
I called and checked in with him about a week ago. He was just coming out of it, so he's doing better now. Huh?
He is, but he's still exhausted.
Yeah. Right.
So takes a little bit.
So what's going on in your professional life? Are you're broker now, or are you still, what are you doing?
Yeah, I've been working as a real estate broker in the medical industry, selling hospitals mostly.
Oh.
But and I still am working on that. We have a couple projects we're working on here in California.
Wow.
And but I'm trying to focus on residential right now.
I see.
And but I'm doing both. So I have a couple listings that are commercial listings up on the border of Canada. And so I'm kind of working with some Canadian companies up there.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Get the residential just flips a little faster. A hospital's got to take years to get through the
paperwork. It takes
I
years,
can't even imagine a hospital. There's so many entities.
Right. It's kind of funny because I would have never thought to sell hospitals just like anybody else I know. They don't, whenever I talk to another broker, they're like, wow, you sell hospitals? And I didn't even know they sold. And
that's right. That's what I was thinking.
Most people say that.
Yeah.
And, I got the call on a floor call. So I was, what they say in real estate business is when you're, kind of hanging around the office and phone calls come in for looking for a broker to make a sale. And this call came in for a commercial, and they go, oh, Christine, she's here, and she sells commercial real estate, and they were looking to buy a hospital, and probably four hospitals later, I've sold 4 hospitals with them, and a big portfolio as well of hospitals, listed a hospital as well. So now I'm the hospital expert, because I know 10% more than most people about hospitals.
Right. It's like a business that's running.
Yeah.
Times 10.
Yeah, and the great thing about me selling hospitals, or at least the benefit in commercial real estate when you're selling a hospital, is that you're really looking for a building, and you're really looking for land that you can build a building that's zoned properly. And the business part of it is all handled by lawyers, and so I don't have to deal with the business part of it.
That's a whole nother aspect I didn't think about. There's just got to be lawyers.
Oh yeah, the
stacked
lawyers.
12 deep, huh?
They are. And but that's nice. It takes a lot of pressure off of me.
They do all your paperwork for you too, huh?
Absolutely, yes.
And they make sure everything's dotted and T's crossed and
everything from zoning and all of the deals. I have to kind of do the initial work, but after that, and they just do everything. So the lawyers just make sure everything's handled, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
And the experience of somebody come in and say, "Oh, Christine's done 4 hospitals already. Let's use her."
Yeah. There's not many. I mean, really, there's about a handful of other brokers like me that actually work with medical buildings.
Really?
And then you segue into like hotels as well. So
Oh,
because
right.
hotels are very similar.
Well,
And
that's
in
gotta be
fact,
lucrative.
yeah, well, it can be for the buyers and sellers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it's still one of those things that takes a long time to do, and years. And if you really calculate the hours and what you got paid, it's below minimum wage.
Right, right.
But
You
that's
know,
okay. It's what I love, and I love real estate, and that's what I do.
right.
Yeah.
I've always found in sales that the deals that you have to work the extra hard on are the ones that you end up making
Less
very
money.
little money
Yeah,
on. Right.
right. It's so true. It's so true.
Right.
Yeah. So I have this client that I worked with. It was one of my very first. Well, they weren't my first transaction or anything, but I was doing open house, and it was a 5-bedroom house in a college town. And this guy comes in, and he goes, yeah, would you rent this to me? And he didn't, obviously I'm just the broker. I'm like, well, I can't really rent this to you. I'm a real estate broker. I sell real estate. I go, why don't you buy it? And he goes, well, I have no income. I'm a student. And I said, well, why do you need a 5-bedroom house? And he goes, well, all my friends, all my buddies, they all need, they all want to rent from me. I'm going to rent out. I'm going to rent it. I'm going to have 2 guys in each room. He goes, and I'm going to charge him whatever he's going to charge him.
Yeah.
And I said, well, okay, if you draw up lease agreements or rental agreements for each one of those rooms and take it to the lender, you can get a loan based on those leases. So you don't need an income. And he did that. And he was so excited about it that he came back to me and said, I have my goals. I want to share my goals with you. And I said, great. I don't know what they have to do with me, but
Right. Do tell.
Do tell. And he said, my goal is I want to learn Mandarin Chinese in the next 5 years, and I want to buy 5 houses and investment houses. And I'd like you to, help me with the houses.
Sure.
And within 2 years, we had bought, he'd bought 5 houses. I'd helped him with that. And he'd, learned Mandarin Chinese, and he'd moved to China on the 3rd year. And
With this income that he's got now.
yes. And he just really was a vagabond. I mean, he was roaming around all over China.
Right.
And went to England and got his master's degree. And then he opened his own business, working with big companies like Starbucks in China and making sure that everybody was up. I don't know exactly what they do, but his company goes in and making sure that they're within doing what we would expect in America, for guidelines.
I see.
So he would go into all these big companies that are American companies and make sure that they are going with American standards. And really a great idea. And so he's still doing that. But he called me up last week on WhatsApp and said, hey, will you talk to this gal? She really wants to get involved in real estate. And so she's coming in on the 4th to San Francisco.
It starts all over.
Yeah, same, and it's gonna be the same kind of thing.
Right. So,
Yeah.
So what did he do with the second house? He took the leases and he took that and got a loan for the first house, and then could he take that equity or did he do the same thing?
Well,
or?
so his second and third and fourth house, when he went to get loans on that, he just said that he was going to lease them out, and he found somebody to lease them, and he did the same thing.
That's interesting.
Oh, yeah, and you can't always do that in the market, depending on what the market, like with the, right now, if you go to a financial institute, they're going to be really, really strict on everybody looking for a loan. It's going to be more difficult. So back when he did that was back in 2005, and he was able to get that through.
I see.
So it just depends on kind of where we are in real estate, what's happening in real estate right now. The better way to go is to find owner financing.
I see, right.
Yeah, because the interest rates are really high. Owners like to, be the bank. You make a lot of money being the bank.
Sure.
And so it's really one of those opportunities that you can go to an owner and say, hey, especially somebody downsizing. So there's a lot of people downsizing.
Moving and
Well, yeah, so
expensive
empty
areas.
nesters. They have these
Right.
big houses, and then these, new people that are building their family. So the new people building their family, they can't really go out and get a loan. They don't really want to at a higher interest.
I was going to say they probably don't want to.
Yeah, and it costs a lot more
Right.
to get a loan through a bank, whereas if you just have the lender be the seller, which
Right.
usually they can, they usually
If they
own
have
it.
enough equity in it,
Yeah.
they'd almost have to be pretty clean on it, huh?
Right, and you'd be surprised. There's a lot of people who bought their house for under $20,000 and raised their family, and now they're like, well, my house is
Right.
worth $1.5 million,
Right.
so I guess I'll sell my house and go on vacation.
Just move to Arizona or somewhere
Yeah.
where it's less expensive.
Yeah, and they're doing that. Vegas, Arizona.
Let me ask a stupid
Oregon.
question. I guess if I was a bank, I would want to loan more money when there's a 12% interest than you would when there's a 2% interest.
You would think.
This is kind of backwards, isn't it?
Right
I'm
now
not very
it's- Right now, it's really.
educated in the real estate or banking, but
Yeah,
tell me a little
no.
bit about that. Why would they get so stringent when they can make so much money now?
The government is really cracking down on the financial institutes and have been doing a lot of auditing, and so they're really being cautious.
Because of these Silicon Valley banks that crashed, that kind of
Because
started
of
a waterfall or something.
Right,
I just hear echoes.
just pretty much everything that's happened,
Yeah.
and so because of that, they're being a lot more cautious.
I see, right.
Yeah.
Right.
But
But doesn't seem like the house prices are dropping. I'm sure they
No.
will.
no, they won't, because when the interest rate goes down, there's going to be more buyers, and with more buyers, the prices will go up.
Sure.
And so the prices are not going to go down. I know everybody seems to think we're in a bubble. We're not in a bubble. We are so far from a bubble.
Really?
And if you look in other countries, or different areas, like for instance, Carmel here, people would say, "Oh, it's so expensive." It really is not. If you find an area that looks like this in Spain, your prices are going to be triple, quadruple of what they are here.
Really?
Oh yeah.
On the California coast?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
So
didn't know that.
we're still on sale. People don't realize that, but worldwide, America, we're like, oh, we're so all about us, but it's not. It's not that big of a deal.
That's interesting.
That's why all these Chinese come in with all this money, and because they know they're worldwide thinking,
Yeah.
and we're not really worldwide thinkers.
Right. Long-term thinkers also.
Yeah.
We're not so long-term.
Right.
you
They're
know.
long-term thinkers, and
Right.
just that's the way it is. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I was looking at some property up in Michigan that I was interested in. It's got a couple pieces of commercial property next to it, and it's got a little house on it. It's across the
Nice.
street from a Silver Lake, and
Nice.
beautiful little spot,
Yeah.
But it's like, what can I do right now? I don't have a whole lot to put
Right.
down on it. I can't cash it
Right.
out, and it's like, well, maybe I can get a hold of them and
Yeah.
see if I can
Just find out who the owner is and
Yeah.
write him a letter.
send them a letter of intent and tell, give them a couple
I would write
of
him a
options.
letter
These are the
initially.
things.
Yeah. And that's one of the ways I've actually been able to get a lot of listings.
Really?
Yeah, and one of my hospitals that I listed, I got by just writing a letter.
No kidding.
It was amazing. I didn't even think of it. My daughter was my assistant, and she said, I think we should just write letters to everybody who owns hospitals. I said,
Like,
okay.
that's a dumb idea,
Let's
right?
try it. Snail mail, what's it going to
Boom.
cost us? 22 cents. Okay. And so we did. And we got a call from an owner that owned a hospital. And they said, we're not the operator, but we are the owner.
I see.
And, but we would like to sell the building. And we went ahead and listed it. And and found out a few things. We learned a few things about selling hospitals because they were out of compliance on certain things.
Right.
And
The
we were
learning
able
curve, things to check next time.
Yeah.
Before
you learn about it.
Knee deep into it.
Yeah, but we were able to get through, and we listed and sold the hospital.
Perfect.
And yeah, it went great. And that was all from one letter that I sent out.
Sure.
So sending snail mail, people actually read their mail.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the bigger hospitals are scooping up the smaller ones. So you just contact some of the smaller ones and, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
And they may have some interest in your hospital.
Well, they do. My clients are bigger hospital owners, but they're not the biggest.
Sure.
There's only maybe 3 really big hospital owners.
Yeah.
And my hospital owner, they put together portfolios of hospitals, so they go around, buy the little ones, then they get them running nicely, make them profitable. A lot
They
of
keep them or sell them?
Well, they make a portfolio of them, and then they sell them to the big guys.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Right.
so the
As
last
a package of these are.
The last portfolio they sold was $500 million.
Wow.
So $500 million.
Right.
And now the portfolio that they're building now that I'm helping them with will sell for maybe double that. So
Yeah, that's sold by the big.
yeah, it goes a different way. Yeah, so I can help them with their little
Right.
hospitals, and then when they sell their portfolio, it's handled completely different.
Stock exchange kind of.
Yeah,
guys,
it's a way different deal, and I'm not part of that kind of deal.
Don't want to be too
No,
much.
it's I just don't know enough about it that I could be in those shoes. It's all about the business at that point,
Right.
and I'm more about the real estate.
Yeah.
And so the business it has so many moving parts. As a hospital, there's so many.
Right.
And there's, a lot of the hospitals are non-for-profit hospitals.
Yeah.
And they're mismanaged. And this is why they're in financial trouble.
Sure.
And why buyers like my clients end up buying them, because they can go in and fix the management. And if you ever watch the movie with Jack Nicholson, and it's a movie about
Was it Bucket List or?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Bucket List, yeah. And,
Morgan Freeman, yeah.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman, right. And
he owned hospitals, didn't he? Right.
He was buying non-for-profit hospitals and fixing the management.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and so my client basically is that person, but in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great
and
movie,
so
right.
yeah,
going through that movie in my head. Sorry.
Yeah,
It's
a great movie, and a lot of people kind of look at it like my client or like Jack Nicholson's character was the evil person because they're going in and they're buying it for pennies on the dollar, but really they're saving the hospital.
Right,
and if they didn't come in and do that, fix the management issue of people are getting overpaid. You got the nonprofits. Look at the Boy Scouts of America. The president of the Boy Scouts of America is making millions of dollars.
Really?
And they're in financial, disarray half the time. So, so you got to kind of fix those items if you want to keep the Boy Scouts of America or you want to keep the hospitals.
Right.
It should be, if it's for
capitalist.
non-for-profit, maybe you should, watch what's happening in the management.
Capitalism works.
Yes.
I mean, it really does. People want to argue about it now, but that's the way of making better.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Competition breeds a need.
Competition, sure.
And competition keeps people honest.
That's for sure.
And so, I think it's definitely the best way to go.
Yeah.
But
monopolies are a nightmare. They can make their own rules.
Right. And that's too bad, because then you have a lack of hospitals, a lack of necessary, not commodities, but necessary services that we all need.
Right.
And, so we need to make sure to support our businesses locally, including hospitals.
Sure. Small and large.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, hospitals kind of lead me down a whole nother road of insurance and goofiness. So, we'll just skate away.
Right. So this gal coming in from Thailand, I'm going to meet with her and talk to her about buying real estate at auctions, so the tax auctions.
Oh, wow. That's a great field to get into.
Right.
Wow.
Right. So one of the
But you
things.
can only do that as a broker.
Not really. No.
Oh, no?
Anybody can.
Oh, really?
So anybody can. So I do this with usually with one or two people every 2 or 3 years. Well, whether they're investors or builders. I did this with a builder of mine where I brought them to the auction. They have to bring a suitcase of cash, and it's on the courthouse steps.
Pretty much, huh?
And you have a list, and usually half the list is paid off by the time you go to the auction.
By the previous owner.
Yeah,
or by
so
the current owner.
they can pay it off all the way up to the morning of the auction.
Okay.
So during the morning of the auction, a lot of times people are coming in with checks and paying off, and they're either doing it under their own will, or they had somebody come to them and say, "Hey, I saw, and I'll let you stay in the house if you let me buy this ahead of the auction."
Yeah.
And they just pay off the taxes.
Nice. So you've been through the commercial sales. You've done the hospitals. I don't know what that would be. It's beyond commercial. You've done residential, the broker. So it seems like you getting to the point where you want to start slowing down a little bit. You got your houses pretty well set up, and
I do some property management with my own real estate that I own.
Do you?
We have a lot of commercial property that we own. I say we, it's me and my husband.
Right.
And then we have residential property that we rent out.
I see, right.
And so I'm doing that property management, and I would say that I don't necessarily want to slow down, but I do want to maybe pass my knowledge on to other people that are learning about real estate investments.
Right.
Because there's a lot of real estate brokers out there that they sell real estate, they learn about real estate, they push real estate and the investment part of it, but they don't do it themselves. And it makes me wonder, why are they? I mean, I love real estate. If I had the ability, I would have bought real estate when I was 6.
Really? Started early.
Well, my mom was a real estate broker, and
no kidding.
I would tag along with her, and I was just all about learning about real estate and wanting to buy it, and be very involved in it. And I talk to real estate brokers every day, and they're trading their time for money. They're not investing where they should be. If they're pushing the real estate bug and telling everybody about what a great investment is, then they should be investing their money. And because my husband Chuck and I invested our money in real estate, and separately and then together, because of that, we don't have to work anymore.
Right.
And we have passive income.
Yeah.
I don't have to be the property management. We have other property managements that work for us.
Right.
But because of what we've invested in, we still would have a wonderful, beautiful life.
Yeah.
With 3 homes and traveling worldwide all the time.
I know there was he had a very successful business up there.
He had a retail business.
And he just sold that off.
Yeah, retail business. He
storage and that type of thing. He sold that off. I know he's kind of looking forward to slowing down. And
yes.
He was talking about, we're not going to rent this house out in Monterey anymore. It's ours. We pulled everything out, new mattresses, new everything. It's mine now.
Right.
It's like, right on. Good for you, man.
Yeah, and because of because of our other real estate is the reason why we wouldn't have to work if we didn't want to.
Right, because of the income coming off of that.
Yeah, otherwise we would have no income, because when you're a business owner, you don't really have a retirement plan a lot of times. And when you're a real estate broker, you're a business owner. And people forget to realize that. You're a business owner.
That's a great point, huh, for the new
Yeah.
real estate people that are coming into it.
Yeah, and
Scoop that
as
stuff
soon as
up.
you stop selling real estate, your money stops. So you need to invest in real estate, just as you're preaching to all these other people.
Right, that's true. Take your own
You
advice.
Take your own advice. And I talk to real estate brokers all the time that have been in the business as long as me, and they're like, yeah, I have a house. Like, okay, and what else? But
Right.
they haven't invested in more than that.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things that if you don't have a retirement, then you need to look at passive income, like
Sure.
you have looked at passive income.
Sure.
You're looking at investing in real estate.
Right.
This gal coming in from Thailand, she's going to go to Ohio to invest in real estate because she has the money to buy real estate in Ohio. She can't buy real
Sure.
estate here in California.
Right,
She can't
right.
buy real estate in Washington or Oregon. But in Ohio, she can actually pay cash.
Really.
And so that's what she's going to do. She's going to start there and go from there. And then she wants some property management experience and stuff like that. And she'll definitely get it when she buys real estate.
There, too.
Yeah.
It'll still increase,
Yeah.
whether
Oh,
it's
yeah.
in Ohio or...
Well, think about it. It's easier to increase a property that is $100,000 to $200,000 than increase $1 million property to $2 million.
million.
Well, I used to say
That's
that.
a great point, though. You could buy a whole lot of different properties in Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
And it could
And
flip
double
faster.
it quicker. Yeah.
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 I tried to help my daughter get some land, some woods up there, and I
Right.
asked for a loan. And right near the end, they said, "Oh, we don't fund Californians. We don't want you coming in and buying up our Michigan land."
Right.
I was
Yes.
like, oh, so the banks are getting finicky like that too. They don't want you crossing state lines.
Well, it's
Like,
illegal,
well,
but
now.
they will do that. I mean, that's something that happens and
Right.
continues to happen, and it's
Doesn't happen if you're coming in with a shoebox full of cash, though. So
Well, as long
You
as
don't
you
need the loan.
Yeah, right.
Right. She
As long
doesn't
as you
need it.
don't need a loan, and then it all depends. It's a lot of real estate investors will use an LLC, so then nobody knows who they are, and so sometimes that's a better way to buy real estate, is buying it under a alias,
I see.
and then there's no prejudice
Right,
on who
right.
you are.
Did you
And-
start a consulting business? I think you would do so much good for young people if you could get
done
in
a
front
lot of
them.
consulting. Yeah, I've done a lot of consulting, and mostly it's to other real estate brokers
Yeah.
or investors.
Oh, to the
And-
brokers, not the realtors. Right.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit. What's the difference between a realtor and a broker? So basically, you're a realtor. If you're a
With
broker, you can
additional
have other realtors
education.
working for you. What are their differences?
It depends on what state you're in.
Oh, I see.
Every state has different rules and regulations.
About being a
and-
broker.
Yeah.
Huh.
And a broker usually has more education. You usually have some more time under your belt. Definitely a lot more sales
Sure.
experience.
Right.
And in some circumstances, you would be able to build a team or have an office. And there's still regulations that you would have to abide by.
Right.
There's lots of laws and regulations regarding that.
Right.
But and I've considered doing that. I thought, oh yeah, I'll just be the head of an office, and
Yeah.
they can do all the work, all the minion work,
Sure,
and
right,
I can
right.
just be the head of the office, and I can,
Broker it.
broker it, tell
Yeah, yeah.
everybody what to do and how to do
Sure.
it, right? Since I think I know it all, which I don't. I'm learning every day.
Right.
And it's one of those things that it's like owning a farm. you cannot leave if you own a farm. You have animals that you have to take care of.
Right.
And
You're the brains in the operation.
if you're a broker, you
Right.
can, you can fly around and be gone and just be available via phone and such. But really, to do a good job, you need to be there, and you need to be supportive. You need to be the cheerleader and the coach and all of the things.
They need all that too.
They need all of
Right.
it, and
It's
so
the truth.
and so for you to do the proper job, for me anyway, for me to take on that responsibility,
Right.
I would have to be that person,
Yeah.
because that's the way I operate. I want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
so I decided against it. And now with my job, the way I have it set up, I can really be anywhere in the world and work. Because I have teams set up in different areas that can do anything, can be feet on the ground in different areas. And whether it's my daughter or not my daughter, I have other groups of people that can go do that work.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you looking at any other people to help you out, or are you just going to do it on your own for a little bit? Or I know you're kind of in a transition right now.
Yeah. I
All
am
kind
a
of up in the
little
air,
bit.
huh?
I'm a little bit in transition. I probably do the better job on my own, because with when I have a partner or a team, it's not just working for me, but working with me. Usually I'm doing more of the work, which I don't want to, I'm doing more of the work because I'm trying to teach them and train them what to do.
Doing all the work in front of them.
Yeah.
Do it this way.
Yeah. So I would prefer to just kind of do that part on my own.
Yeah.
And, if I can help somebody out, like this gal coming from Thailand, if I can help her out,
Yeah.
then that's great. I like to give back that way.
Sure. Right.
I
Got so
don't-
much knowledge to share.
Yeah.
And so many different angles.
Yes.
Of the
Yeah.
business.
Yes, and I get excited trying to tell people about how they can buy houses or just properties or houses on auction.
Right.
Because you can do that nationwide.
It's constantly changing, isn't it? Well, now
Yeah,
we've got
now
the
they're
internet.
doing it. Yeah, now they're doing it on the internet, so you don't have to go into the courthouse steps with your suitcase of cash.
Right.
Now you're doing it online.
All aspects. You can do tours, walkthroughs, open houses.
Everything's online. Yeah,
It's crazy.
it's changed. Yeah, it has made a big change. Yeah. Commercial's still a little different. It's more of a hands-on situation.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's still videos, and we have, pictures taken and such like that. But, with commercial real estate, is a little bit different.
Yeah. Right.
So,
Yeah. Perfect.
yeah. And it's funny because in commercial, it's still a man's business. So if I go to a commercial conference, the only girls that are there are still secretaries.
Oh, really?
Or assistants.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of commercial brokers that are women.
Is it too brutal?
Yeah, it is brutal too. I always laughed at
What
it.
keeps
I'm
the
like,
women out of
why? Because like what you said with hospitals, it takes a long time to close a deal. 3, 4, 5 years to
Right.
close a deal. Women, they want to get it done now.
It's a different mentality.
Yeah,
for
and
the
men
long
are, I
haul.
think they're a little bit more patient. I don't
I
know.
see.
And so it is pretty brutal, at least the large end of the spectrum. If you're selling small businesses, that's different. But if you're selling large, large retail complexes or large apartment complexes or anything multifamily, hotels,
Right.
hospitals, those are transactions that can take years.
And you're kind of out on your own, too. I did have a guy on here one time that he was buying properties and land, and he got one, and he had it resold, and there was so many contracts back and forth.
Yeah.
And just before they closed on it, they were like, there's a power line running through the middle of it. We didn't
Right.
know, and now we can't do it because of the easement.
Right.
It's like, that was one of the first things that we told you.
Right.
You know, but after a year's worth of work, done.
Yeah. And then you make no money.
Risky, right?
And then you're back to the drawing board.
Back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's true. And that's what the brutal part of it is.
That's what I meant by brutal.
Yeah.
Right.
It
And
is.
somebody will just come back and cut your legs out from underneath you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Right. And
Brutal game.
yeah.
Any
and
money game is, but
and in commercial real estate there's no ethics. So with residential real estate you have ethics. And you're required to have ethics.
because you're dealing with the public.
Yeah.
That
And in
helps.
commercial real estate there are no ethics.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah,
Wow.
which is weird.
It's very
That there's
weird.
no laws
Are you going to try
regarding
to?
that.
Are you going to try to get more action going here in the Monterey area?
Yes.
Are you?
Yes.
You going to just like stay here for a few months and then like deal with it?
Yes.
How are you going to do with that? I know you love being down here.
Yes. With real estate, if you have your real estate license in a different state or in let's say Washington State, I can get my real estate license in other states without having to go through the full training.
Really?
I just need to take the state test instead of the federal and state test.
I see.
And the training is, I've already gone through training. So, I mean, with my state and my federal training to get my broker's license. So for me to get a license in any other state, which I already sell real estate in all the United States, but I do it through partnering with other brokers.
I see. Right. Through their
Through their
credentials.
license,
Ah, perfect.
But since I have a house here, you know, I am planning
Residence.
to. Yeah. Well, my primary residence is in Washington,
Okay.
and but I do have a lot of people that I deal with all the time that are asking me about real estate here in Monterey.
Right. And then you can just
And-
run it through another broker and
Right.
still get your cut.
Yeah, currently I'm running it through a different broker.
Yeah, right on.
But, you know, I wouldn't mind going ahead and getting my license here.
Yeah.
'Cause then I would be able to do all the work myself.
Right.
And know that it's being done properly.
Right. That's interesting. I guess I never really thought about it deeply, but I guess I just figured if you got your California license, then you're a California realtor. I didn't know you could like go up
Yeah.
and down the coast and, you know,
Yeah.
they make it a little easier for you to.
Yeah. You know, it's like in my office. There's only one other realtor or broker that does real estate outside the state of Washington. They do real estate in Arizona and in Washington.
Right.
Well, you know, I've sold last year. I sold real estate in Oregon, in California,
Oh, no kidding.
Washington,
Right.
Canada. You know, so and you know, quite a bit in California. Not necessarily in Monterey, but also down in the wine country in Healdsburg.
So, yeah.
And so that's the great thing about being a real estate broker, and that's what I love about it. It's a new day every day. It's you wake up and you don't really somebody explained it to me that they said you're unemployed every day. Every day you wake up, you're unemployed. And until you go out and get that job, whatever that job is, you know, whether you're selling a house in Monterey or something else in Washington, you're listing something, you're helping somebody, you're unemployed when you wake up. And then you have to go out there and make it happen.
Right.
And that's what it's like.
First job of sales, sell yourself.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
Got to get out there
Sell
and
yourself and yeah, sell your service. You know,
your service, right?
Yeah.
Your knowledge and your
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
How cool.
Yes.
Well, we'll come back
Yes.
to real estate if you want to. Tell me about this super cool car you got last year.
Oh my gosh.
Didn't you get like a Lexus or something?
I did. I got a Lexus LC 500.
Hey, have mercy.
Oh, it's awesome. really an amazing car.
There's not many of those here in America at the time
There
you
aren't.
got it. You were
There
like one of
still
the
aren't.
first ones.
Yeah. And there's still very few, especially convertible. I have a convertible.
Is it convertible, like a hardtop convertible? Or
No, soft. They changed it. So it replaced the 430 SC,
Okay.
which was a hardtop convertible.
I see. Okay.
And it was also smaller and a totally different body style.
Wow.
And so this car, the LC 500, replaced that vehicle.
Nice.
And it really is an amazing car.
It's a rocket ship.
It is a rocket ship. Yeah.
Chuck showed me a picture of it when I think you went to pick it up at the port or something, didn't you?
Yes. We picked it up at the port and had it shipped into Washington State. And it's one of those cars that you really wish that you had a long road.
Autobahn or something.
Yeah, that you could drive
Germany.
really fast.
Right.
And I have raced it a couple times, but not legally. And so it's hard to find it.
Allegedly raced it.
Yeah, I've allegedly raced it, yes. And it's a fast car. It's fun. It's a fun car.
How fun.
And it's because it's rare. That's what makes it really fun, because people always have questions about it. And
It's a head turner.
yeah, it's an interesting vehicle.
Right.
And it's a little bigger than I would like.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
Pretty heavy too, huh?
It's
Looked
heavy
Yeah.
and big, and it's, even though it's like 8 inches, no, maybe 10 inches longer than the car that it replaced, and definitely wider. And it doesn't seem like that's a lot,
Yeah.
but when you're driving it, it makes a big difference.
Makes you feel like a rock star.
It's a nice car.
That was really cool.
It's a nice car, and I'm so glad I have it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well,
But
we took a trip up at, but what?
oh, I was just gonna say, but with Rensport in town and all the Porsches and the manual transmissions, I'm kind of like, maybe I should sell my car and buy a Porsche.
Kind of missing that little
Yeah,
stick shift?
yeah, I love manual transmission,
Oh, do you
but
really?
it's just kind of fun.
Right.
It's
I figured that was manual. That wasn't.
No,
no.
that one's not. But
Right.
They're starting to make them again for the Porsches, and so that's fun.
Right,
People love it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's classic.
Chuck's got the Porsche, but he's got the SUV kind of thing.
That's
But
right.
It's still fast as heck, huh?
Yeah, it's fun to drive.
What's that?
Yeah.
I don't know. what
It's a
they call it.
Macan.
Macan, yeah.
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 Fun to drive.
Yeah, it's a fun little thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
We went up and visited you, and we were
Yes.
doing all kinds of camping up all over
In the San Juan
Oregon,
Islands.
or Oregon, sorry.
In
San Juan.
in the San Juan Islands.
San Juan Islands.
Yeah.
We took a little plane over to the islands.
Yes.
And you flown in for the 4th of July.
We did.
We had,
It was
a
amazing.
beautiful dinner out there.
You missed a party. We
I
had a
know, we had
party.
to come back to work. I had to leave on the 2nd of July. I was like, oh no, I'm going to miss it.
I know. And
happened?
literally, Pamela, I asked Pamela if I could use her house. She has the big castle on
Oh, wow.
that you stayed
We
at.
got to sleep in there for a couple nights.
And
yeah.
I said, could we, could I have a party with all my friends and a live band? And she said, sure.
She did.
And I literally got it together within one day. And she hosted a really beautiful tour of her home.
Oh,
where
that's exciting.
She said, invite all your girlfriends and we'll have a little light breakfast and I'll tour everybody and tell them all
Right.
about, as you know, she built that house.
That's the most amazing house I've been in.
Yes.
I've built a lot of houses, and I've
Yes.
worked on a lot of custom homes and mansions in Dallas, and
Yeah.
this is it's a different level.
It is.
It's not
it
the
is.
square footage, but
No.
it's just every detail, the
Yes.
quality is just, I can't even put words to it.
Yes, I mean she went to the quarries and she actually chose the marble and all the materials from all the locations where and
Floor tiles from Jerusalem, and
Yeah, and-
and the paintings on the wall, and
Yeah.
the tapestry. It's like,
and
this
how,
has got to
how
be
the wood was finished and hand finished on site, where they did the grooving of the wood
right.
and
She brought people in.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Smartest.
Yes. Yeah. She
had to
flew
have.
him in from California here, from Monterey.
It was
And-
when I was there this year, the July.
Yeah.
It was pristine. It was like brand new. It's like
Yeah.
you just finished it, right?
She did, really. I mean, it's only been a few years.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's brand new. So I
Yeah.
felt like I was walking through a newly finished house. It was
Oh,
that
absolutely.
pristine. Were you a little nervous about throwing a party in there?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit, yeah. But my friends are pretty respectful, and
That's true. Yeah, of course.
and so it went well. So.
That's great.
And
Live band. Where'd you put the band? Out on the deck?
on the deck,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, it rocked the whole island.
Yep, it really did. Yeah,
That's perfect.
yeah, and it turned out really nice, and we
Yeah.
had the fireworks on that
Oh,
same night.
right. There
And
was a band
so-
playing down on the field. I think
That was the same band.
Did you bring the same guy over? Yeah,
Yeah,
he
same
seemed like
people.
a heck of a nice
yeah.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, they came up. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So it was fun.
I think it was
really
somebody
fun.
that AT&T had brought in,
Yeah, 18
and they did
brought
a.
in,
What was
yeah.
it was a band that was.
I don't remember exactly who that was.
Who were they? Yeah, it was a. I forget. It wasn't the Police, but something like that. You know. I
Right.
forget.
Right. Yeah. This
But
was
they
a
did a
smaller
great job.
version of it, so it was only a few people out of it, and
I see. Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we had, I think, 3 or 4 people on the deck that were jamming out, and then everybody came to watch. And
Yeah.
it was beautiful.
Right. I know she said she had brought the chef in from the restaurant down below sometimes
Yeah.
to do her.
Yes.
Did he come up or
No.
No.
No, they were busy with other things.
Figured, yeah. Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's
But
their time.
everybody was so blessed and felt so blessed that they were invited to her house because we've all been watching her build it.
Right.
And over
living,
the years.
living her, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's-
the rumor was that, it was a Disney, some Disney executive was building
Yeah,
it.
right.
And she does have a Disney background with her family, but I don't know the extent of it, but she said that she does.
Yeah, I don't remember the details, but I remember her pointing out the front gate had the Mickey Mouse kind
yeah.
of shape on it, and she said that
Yeah.
I forget what she said that came from, but it was a Disney attachment.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I remember.
every detail of the house has a meaning. So
Does
was, everything has a meaning, part of her family history, or
Right.
it's really, really
Yeah.
just lovely home.
Right. Like this clock over here, my grandfather built
Yes.
in the 80s. Like,
Right,
wow,
yeah.
that's crazy.
Right.
And it's still
yes.
working.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, just little things like that. She's an amazing woman. Yeah,
Yes,
I've
she
seen her
really
a little
is.
bit. Yeah,
No, I don't. Neither have I. But
yeah. She's in
Yeah.
town. I know her son came in.
yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
Perfect.
But yeah, so but when I got started in real estate, it was my mom that really got me interested in it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she worked as a realtor and she was a land broker. And because she was a land broker, that made me, I was just a little kid and I would follow her around and they gave me a job. My job in the office was to clean the ashtrays.
At that time, right?
Yeah, and also clean the kitchens because it was in the 70s, and a lot of women were going to work in the 70s, and they were going to work as real estate agents.
I see, right.
And so there were women in the offices. They needed kitchens. They would bring their kids, and they were all smoking. And so
funny.
I was cleaning the offices, and I was cleaning the dishes and the ashtrays for $1.
Right. And that's what you ended up. I mean, that's in your blood then,
Oh yeah, I started from the very beginning,
Right.
or from very lowest, part of the totem pole.
Sure. That's how you do
Worked
it.
my way up.
I remember
Yep.
being a kid, I was less than 10 years old. I was out there whipping the weeds in the back of my dad's lumber company or brushing out the guard dogs or,
Yes.
whatever a
Yeah.
10-year-old could do on the
Right.
weekends,
Yes.
And you just get splinters in your blood, same as real
That's
estate,
right. Yeah.
I wanted to get to know all the builders in town
Yeah.
that would come in and get lumber. And it's like,
Right.
they talk about these incredible Heritage Hill homes that they're redoing a stairway on.
That's
It's like,
right,
all
yeah.
I know is lumber. It's like, I want to know what you guys are doing, So you take the next step, you're a
That's
home
right.
builder. And that's just
It
how it
is.
goes.
It is.
Right.
It is. So it's.
You got the Jones early.
I did. I did. I loved real estate from the very beginning.
Yeah.
But I wished I had gotten into it early, but I didn't. Instead, I was in insurance and securities.
That's not a terrible racket either, though. I know some people that are very successful in that.
But I was selling non-tangible items, and for me,
right.
I'm a real estate through and through. I believe in it 100%.
Right.
You know, I've made a lot of money in real estate, and I feel like I can hand that down to other people too.
Right.
So
you understand it.
Yep.
That's cool, right?
Yeah.
You've ridden a lot of waves if you've done this over 20 years. Do you see patterns? Obviously, you must see patterns.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Oh, definitely. That's why when people say, oh, you know, real estate, you know, has to come down in price, but you got to look at it in the right direction. So
yeah,
when interest rates go down,
yeah,
there's going to be more buyers. When there's more buyers and still low inventory,
yeah,
and even more low inventory because there's not as many houses being built that they need.
Right.
I don't know if you saw in the newspaper, but they just they're zoning Asilomar to allow 84 more homes on Asilomar in the beach right there.
Really?
Oops.
It's all sand right there, and yeah.
Yeah, they're building 84 more houses there.
There's a lot of land right there, but it's kind of nice to have that little sand pitch right there.
I know, it's beautiful.
Why not another golf course? Come on.
I know, but
right.
yeah,
This is the place for it.
And there's just a shortage. There's a huge shortage in houses, and so that's one of the reasons why they did that.
Yeah.
And
so the next wave is probably going to be new home buyers.
Yes.
Right? Is that what you're saying?
Definitely. I believe it always is.
Nobody's been buying because the interest rates are so high. If it starts dropping a little bit, you're going to get a flood of
there's
new
a lot
interest, new buyers.
Well, there is. There's a lot of buyers out there. They just are not buying right now because they're holding back. But it's a season. So the season of real estate starts in the spring.
Right.
Usually in February, March. That's when the season, when the people are jumping on it. And then the people really are getting into it in April, May, and June.
Right. You know, my first thought was, why don't I just get the 9% loan or, get the high interest rate, sit on it for 2 years, and then just refinance it. But
you won't even have to sit on it for 2 years.
Huh?
You don't even have to sit on it for 2 years because interest rates will go down next year.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And so, you can refinance every year. And, we've done that, and you're saving so much money when you do that, even if you're only refinancing down a point or 2 points. It's well worth it.
Right.
And so it's better, think about that, it's better to buy a house at a higher interest rate than paying more for the house at a lower interest rate. And that's what's going to happen. So you might as well buy at a higher interest rate and just refinance it when the interest rates go down.
Yeah.
You're going to lose money if you do it the opposite way.
Well, my Hollander brain is saying there's such a high percentage of your payment for the first 2 years are going to be interest.
Yep.
So if I take a loan out at really high interest rate and I just wait and I make that payment for 2 years or a year, and refinance it, all those payments I just made were pretty much thrown in the trash.
No.
But it kind of comes in, comes in a wash. And I'm too short-sighted to see that,
right. Yeah, that's not the case. I could run the numbers with you.
Because when you're doing like thousands of dollars less expensive, in the end, it's gonna make more money.
Oh, yeah.
That's what stops me from buying, because I'm just afraid of making these huge, interest payments.
Right. Yeah, no, it's you got to run you got to run the numbers, and so like when we bought check this out. Chuck and I bought our house here in Monterey, in Carmel, Carmel Valley, in a resort, in a Hyatt resort. We paid we paid $1,250,000.
Yeah.
So $1,250,000. And it was fully furnished, and in a great location. We paid 8% interest. Second home, 8% was going rate. And so now it's been 5 years. In the meantime, we've refinanced it 2 times.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
And just initially, like within the first year, we refinanced it.
Just knocked the interest rate down?
Knocked the interest rate
the
down to
idea?
7, so
Okay.
from 8 to 7.
Right.
And then 2 years later, again to 6. And in the meantime, we've been, seeing appreciation. So that house just appraised at 2.4. We paid 1.250.
Holy cow.
If we had waited,
Yeah.
what if we waited 2 years?
Yeah.
If we had
right.
waited 2 years, we would have paid $2 million for that house.
That's a great point.
Oh my gosh!
Those little tiny interest payments were diddly compared to the profit that you made on it.
We doubled
That's a
our.
great way to look at it. See, I need
doubled-
smart people like you to tell me what to do. Smack me in the back of the head.
We doubled it
right.
in 5 years.
Right.
Doubled.
Yeah.
So, and we paid it off because we rented it out for 5 years. We've been renting it out.
Sure. They kind of made the payment for you.
They made our payments for us, and we took some of the money that we sold on another real estate, another item, and we used that money and the money that we've been, renting it out for, and paid it off. And so, 5 years, $2.4 million
Profit. Pretty close.
in our hand
Yeah,
right
right.
now. That's our egg in our basket right
How about
there.
that? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And then the same with our Edmonds house. We paid $1 million for that. And we just had it appraised at $3 million.
Wow.
And that's 10 years. But 10 years is worth $3 million, and we paid $1 million. But we put
Right.
$500,000 into it. But it's all about location.
Well, see, it's because you know what you're doing, and
So-
and you're seeing a
Well-
whole lot of options go by you, but
Yeah.
it's still possible for a knucklehead like me.
No,
You have the right people.
Absolutely. You have to make the decision to do it. And real estate is a lot about location. So,
Sure.
they say location, location, location.
Yeah.
They don't say that because they're just saying it. They're saying it because it means something.
Sure.
So back when everybody was buying all that real estate right before the recession, and everybody's like buying anything they could, they were grabbing, land grab. And the people that got hurt were the people that just weren't paying attention to the location.
Right.
Because location, think about this. If you're in Carmel by the Sea, there's only so many houses. There's only everybody wants to be there, right? For some reason. But everybody wants to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, so the prices are going to continue to go up no matter what.
Right.
Yeah.
Just keep going up.
Yeah. But
Wow.
if you're in Texas, think about that. How much land is in Texas? How many houses are in
ton.
Texas?
Some
There's
countries
a lot.
you could fit in
Yes.
Texas.
Yes, so everybody's going to Texas. They're buying in Austin. Oh, that's the place. We have to buy in Austin. And things have gone up because of that, because there's so
Sure.
much, it's so popular,
Yeah.
so many people moving, and things have gone up. But at some point, it's just going to spread out, and you'll get it. You'll see your investment grow, there's no doubt. But your investment is going to grow slower in an area that has so much more land and so many more, it's cheaper to build in Texas by a lot.
Right.
You don't even need a contractor's license to build in Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why when a natural disaster comes in, the houses fall down.
Yeah. Right.
So
I know when I worked down there building houses, they were saying, don't go up north there. It's all union up there.
All
It's
union.
like, because they have standards. I don't know.
right. Yes, exactly. So
Have you done anything in Texas? Or?
all my exes live in Texas.
That's
Some
why
of them are dead now.
Tennessee.
Yeah, but no, I visit, but I don't go. I don't buy real estate
Yeah.
in Texas.
Where'd you grow up?
Bellingham, right on the border of Canada.
Oh, you did? You're from
Yeah.
up there?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and all my family lives there, and now I have real estate. I've always bought real estate up there.
Sure.
Buying real estate, I believe buying real estate in college towns, which now that's a college town. It wasn't for many, many years, but now it is. I believe that that's also one of the signs of an area that is going to increase in value.
If it's a college town?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Definitely, because college towns is kind of like older people like to be around younger people.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It's not just for the rental aspect of it for
No.
students.
No. In fact, there's, as you get older, you want to be around, new, fresh minds, thinking people.
Yeah.
And, kind of like Burning Man, you have such a wide variety of people at Burning Man, a lot of young people, and then there's a lot of really old people.
Sure.
And there's some people in between too, but it's one of those things that in towns, like college towns, they become so popular because they bring a freshness to the area.
Sure.
And Bellingham they had a college, but it wasn't a university. And then now it's changed to a university. And once that happened, it became an overnight success.
Really?
Yeah.
Right. So those are the ones you look for.
Yeah. Good schools. You look for good schools, and when you find good schools, those are locations and areas that the real estate goes up in value
I
really
see.
quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
Gonna do some more buying out here, or?
I would like to. Chuck is kind of done with buying.
It's an addiction. If I find the right one.
It is. And, it's hard to say. I mean, I think we have a few more properties in us to buy.
Sure.
And likely they'll be, wherever they will be, they'll definitely be in a great location. So.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what we'll buy next. It's a new day every day.
Yeah, exactly.
It is.
I have learned so much from you today. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming in today and making us smarter.
We'll have to do it again, and
Yeah.
we'll talk about something else. I mean,
Right.
I have a lot to share, but one of these days we'll get into some of the other things. So,
Right, a little deeper. But I just, I just wanted to hear where the real estate market was right now from a professional. And you seem pretty optimistic, more than the news,
Well, right. I mean, you can watch the news and they'll give you their side of it, but you have to
Scare
look at the
tactics.
patterns.
Right.
And so patterns are, in real estate, they show everything.
Yeah.
You see the recessions and the depressions and interest rates and all of that.
Yeah.
There's actually, you can follow it and you can see there's a trend.
Sure. Right.
Yeah.
But you already knew it because you've been doing this. You're like, I knew that trend was coming.
Yeah, well, you don't know exactly when they're coming, but, you can pretty much understand what's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Right.
Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Okay.
It was a great one. Yeah.